下面有请徐良秘书长上台主持。
尊敬的于建龙副会长，尊敬的各位领导、各位企业家朋友们，大家下午好，欢迎出席供应链服务主题活动。巩固和加强全球产业链供应链合作，是推动世界经济发展的重要保障，是各方利益所系和迫切盼望。第2届链博会继续设置供应链服务展区，我们期待通过今天的活动，与大家共同探讨形成更加完整、多元的产业链合作生态的新路径，研究激发创新活力，推动产业间
ecosystem for industrial cooperation, supported by new ideas and new synergies. Let's put up our hands to welcome the Vice President of CCPIT and of the China Chamber of International Commerce, Yu Jianlong, to deliver the welcome remarks. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am very happy to meet everybody in Beijing for the 2nd China International Supply Chain Expo, and here at this session dedicated to the supply chain. The topic is the digital transition supported by supply chain, new insights and new practices. On behalf of CCPIT, to all the guests here, you have my warm welcome, and to all the friends, old and new, who have long been supporting what we do at CCPIT. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, I want to thank everybody for your great support for this Expo. President Xi takes very seriously the global supply chain and the industrial chain, and on many occasions he reaffirmed China's commitment to upholding the safety and the stability of the supply and industrial chains. On November 15th, at the written speech given at the APEC Business Summit, President Xi again called for upholding the WHO, the WTO-centered multilateral trading scheme, an open global economy. And also this morning, the Vice Premier Han Zheng and Premier Li Qiang met some of the representatives to the Expo and delivered a keynote speech and reaffirming China's commitment to high-level opening up and sharing China's proposal to deepen the supply and industrial chain cooperation and also to create an open global economy. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, currently the once-in-a-century changes worldwide are accelerating. The global supply and industrial chains are being restructured. Also, the technological breakthroughs are now happening across many sites. And as a result, a huge number of very influential emerging industries and pioneering industries have cropped up. Manufacturing, logistics, these traditional industries are also being affected. Digital technologies and smart technologies are finding new breakthroughs, and their applications are boosting global productivity. Under the new circumstances, a high-quality supply chain is needed to lower the logistic cost of the businesses, their production cost and operation cost. It's also important to keep the supply chain safe and also to keep the economy stable. China has the most complete range of industrial sectors by the UN standards. The electronics and electrical equipment in these mid to high-end industries, China is climbing up the value chain. For 14 years in a row, China's manufacturing is the world's biggest, and its global share is now over 30%. We are a world factory in the global supply chain. Also, we have the advantage of a full-fledged industrial chain, and we are a stabilizer for the global supplies, playing a replaceable role in the industrial chain, the supply chain. With high-quality development, we are driving Chinese modernization on all fronts. The 1.4 billion people in total, including the over 400 million middle-income earners, and when they modernize, there will be huge market opportunities. In this expo, you have an exhibition area for the supply chain that showcases the end-to-end needs for the supply chain. To be more specific, the supply chain service for Belt and Road, the innovations and also integrated services. They are zooming in on the cooperation models on the Belt and Road initiatives, the services, technologies, optimization of the supply chain, as well as financial service, insurance, knowledge, IPR, and also commercial legislation, and also consulting. And as a result, Maersk, CMA, CGTN, FedEx, Dahua Bank, China Merchants Group, and a number of well-established businesses have set up their own exhibitions there. I encourage you to take a look when you have the time. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the third plenary of the 20th Central Committee of the CPC has set out plans for deepening reform and the Chinese modernization, coming up with over 300 major reform initiatives involving the high-level socialist market economy system, high-quality economic development, and also more high-level opening up on all fronts. And we're expecting greater market space for the businesses and also more opportunities for win-win cooperation. As the largest national trade promotion agency, CCPIT will show up the link between the business and the government, and between home and abroad, between supply and demand, creating a stronger network for the businesses and a broader network abroad to help facilitate your joint initiatives. Also, I encourage you to take this opportunity at the Expo to deepen the pragmatic cooperation in order to make new contribution to the stabilization of the global supply chain and industrial chain. Lastly, best wishes to this session, and I wish everybody good health and good luck in all your endeavors. Thank you. Thank you, Vice President Yu Jianlong. And now let me turn to Chairman of the China-Thailand Business Council, Mr. Qiu Weigong. Welcome. Your Excellency, Vice President Yu Jianlong, ladies and gentlemen, I am a Thai, and my Chinese name is Qiu Weigong. I have a Chinese face, but an Indian name. Now, Thailand, I think this is a country with the largest overseas Chinese community. And I think we have a lot of Chinese investment in Thailand. And today, I want to talk about our industrial parks. And in these industrial parks, we have about 400 Chinese businesses. They are all in the supply chain business because they've set up very large factories in Thailand. Now, it's not just Chinese investors. We also have about 730 Japanese businesses also setting up production lines here. because again, they have a large supply chain for them. Probably you've heard of Toyota, right? And Toyota, its vendors and the supply chains are also in my industrial park. About 300 of their factories there, and also CISCE, about 150 factories. Also in ASEAN countries, I think not just Thailand, the automobile industrial chain is among the largest in the world. Also, electronics, we are very big in that area too. Most recently, we've set up a whole number of electronics factories. I think we attracted about $1 billion US. And I think this is happening because ASEAN has the largest integrated market. Today, the trade between China and ASEAN has been growing, I think, at 2 digits for the past 1 decade every year. And that's why, going forward, I still think that ASEAN is among the most important partners for China. Well, I'm not sure whether you know the future of ASEAN and where ASEAN stands now. ASEAN is a very safe place, a place with a lot of good collaborations as an organization. So if you are thinking about investing overseas, whether you are in the automobile, electronics, semiconductor industries, or other industries of the future, I think definitely you need to consider ASEAN as one of your top choices for industrial chains. And today I'm here on behalf of Thailand. I'm actually half Thai and half Chinese. And I've been to many countries, but no country treats me better than Thailand. Sorry, I know I sound a bit selfish because you can't really tell the difference between me and everybody here. However, I am a Thai, and no other country, I think, treats me better than Thailand. So Thailand, I think, is really a country right at the center, because here you will find the supply chains for all that you want to develop. And I encourage you to look me up in the future. And you have Zhang Jixiang and Xu Gongmo in the audience. I think Mr. Xu is already in Thailand for 20 years. And he is one who created an industrial park. And I think there's another colleague, Yang Zijie, right over there. In the future, if you want to find out more about us, these are the two to go to get a discounted price. Look me up, but for more information, go to them. Thank you.
Thanks to the Chairman Chu for his fabulous speech, as always. So previously, the President Yu and Chairman Chu gave the remarks, and they are warm-hearted and also elevate our conference to a height. We talk about the situation, changes, and development, and we are greatly inspired. Please give them some applause again. Ladies and gentlemen, the climate change is the common challenge for all mankind. To deal with the climate change, the second CISCE initiate the carbon neutrality transformation, and all the exhibitors joined the joint initiative. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Yang Guofeng, Chief of Transportation and Logistics Department of China Merchants Group, to release this initiative to us. Welcome. Thanks for his introduction. Distinguished Mr. Yu Jianlong, Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I come from the China Merchants Group. China Merchants Group is dedicated to providing the green logistics and green real estate and the green financial services. We have implemented a bunch of demonstration green projects and developed a lot of low carbon and green technologies and products, and form our own practice results. We spare no efforts to make contribution to the dual carbon goals and to provide the investment attraction plans. As a supply chain provider, here we would like to use this great opportunity of the second CISCE. We work together with Maersk and also CMA and also FedEx and also the SF and also YTO and UOB to jointly initiate the transformation of the supply chain towards the low-carbon development. And the delegation and the commission of others, I declare our announcement and the initiative that is to realize the low-carbon transformation of supply chain, to implement the climate change framework and the Paris Agreement, and the 2030 carbon reduction initiative, and also the SDG goals of the United Nations, and also adapt to the low-carbon development of energy. The leading companies in the supply chain industry jointly release an initiative to accelerate the low-carbon development. It integrates the synergy inside of industry, accelerate the low-carbon development of the whole industry, and also empower the companies to realize their low-carbon development goals. And also, it makes great contribution to the transformation in various sectors. First of all, is the transformation of the business blocks. We integrate the low-carbon development into the mechanism, operation, procurement, research and development of the companies. Use our own practices to transform those green development science into our development and realize the transformation of our business. And the second one is to strengthen communication. We make communication and cooperation with the existing low-carbon development and accelerate our transformation step and facilitate the innovation of technologies at the upstream and downstream, and work together with various associations, NGOs, etc., and to facilitate the low-carbon development by using policies and also accelerate this process. The third one is to make continuous innovation and make the technological breakthroughs and to provide great support for the low-carbon transition and strengthen our communication with the climates, with our customers, clients, NGOs, governments, and international organizations so as to realize the low-carbon transition and to form the synergy. And fourthly, and to result to mutual trust, promote the best practices and exchange innovation, information, and establish the sharing mechanism so that all the fruits from innovation can be shared with all the participants in the supply chain. And to facilitate low-carbon transformation of the supply chain worldwide, we call on all the actors in the supply chain to participate into this initiative, adhering to the mutual benefits principles. We call on our contribution to the low-carbon development of low industry and create a green development for all. That's all. Thank you.
非常感谢杨国锋先生为我们宣读倡议。
to
接下来
his
活动
sharing.
将进入主题发言环
And
节。
now is the keynote
首先有
speech
请马
section.
士基集团
And
北亚
here we
区
would
首
like
席
to
代
give
表
the floor
中国欧盟
to
商会
James
主席燕慈先生
Askelam,
做主题发
the
言。
chief representative from Masky Group. Welcome.
Vice Chairman Yu Jianlong, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you, first of all, for giving me the opportunity today to discuss with you the digital and green transformation of supply chain services. But allow me, first of all, to note that 2024 has been perhaps an unexpectedly good year for our industry in transportation and logistics. In spite of global volatility, in spite of tension, in spite of a sputtering economic recovery in many parts of the world, trade has actually proven remarkably resilient. In fact, trade in container terms has grown twice as fast as global economic growth. So, for all the talk about deglobalization, onshoring, friendshoring, nearshoring, and so on, this is not something we see in the numbers. Maybe we see fragmentation, but we definitely do not see a decline in global trade. Indeed, we trade more with each other, and China is at the very heart of this development. China's exports, in particular, have performed very strongly. We must, however, recognize that just the immediate term ahead of us, next year, just a few months from now, 2025, is a period of time that we need to look at with considerable uncertainty. It is hard to guess just a few months ahead what the world will bring us in our industry. But now back to the main topic. The logistics and supply chain industry is undergoing a significant transformation. This shift is not just about adopting new technologies, but also about rethinking how we operate to create more intelligent and sustainable supply chains. The challenges we face today, such as stretched capacity, prolonged transit times, and unreliable delivery estimates, highlight the need for a more agile and resilient approach. Our customers demand a better integrated supply chain that offers end-to-end visibility, greater flexibility, and the ability to vary transportation modes across ocean, air, and land. Technology gives us the tools to make this happen. Technology allows us to connect a fragmented industry and physical assets digitally, unlocking new opportunities to simplify, to connect, and to optimize supply chains from end to end for an improved customer experience. This shift also promises to elevate supply chain resilience by enhancing visibility, traceability, and transparency. At Maersk, our tailored online services take the complexity out of shipping, allowing our customers to instantly book, manage, and track shipments. Maersk Spot, our easy online booking system, provides a seamless way to transport goods by land and ocean. Customers can order through Maersk.com or the Maersk app, staying informed about their cargo's journey from origin to destination. Artificial intelligence is also transforming supply chain operations by providing real-time visibility throughout the entire supply chain, generating recommendations to optimize the flow of goods, and enhancing operational control to improve reliability and resilience. AI-powered chatbots offer timely and context-aware responses based on customers' historical interactions, improving customer service. In addition to AI, the digitization of data creation, storage, and analysis is crucial. Investment in sensors, in cameras, in the Internet of Things devices, and integrations of these have significantly increased data creation throughout supply chains. The integration of cloud technology with logistics management allows businesses to make faster, more informed decisions based on data sources from warehouses, from terminals, and from vessels. As supply chains evolve towards greater digitalization and connectivity, companies must also address sustainability concerns. The industry is increasingly focused on greener practices, driven by natural disasters exacerbated by climate change. Maersk and other companies are taking bold steps towards decarbonization, including investing in vessels to operate on green fuels and technologies across the supply chain. We in Maersk are aiming for net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2040. 2040, that's very soon, across our operations and customer solutions. A key highlight of our journey towards net zero was the introduction of Roller Maersk, the first container ship powered by a dual fuel engine capable of utilizing green methanol. This vessel underscores the industry's move towards more sustainable solutions. In 2024, Maersk has welcomed 9 large vessels capable of running on green methanol, with more vessels to follow. These ships represent a significant step towards our sustainability goals and demonstrate our commitment to innovation. We believe, however, that there will be no single fuel pathway, but multiple green fuel solutions operating along each other. In China, we are working hard with our partners to secure scalable and cost-efficient green fuel solutions. We have signed large off-take agreements with Chinese developers such as Goldwind and Longji, with the first green methanol expected to be delivered in 2026. These agreements are another proof of China's leadership in the energy transition of shipping. Indeed, bringing our industry to net zero will need to be a global effort. And it's an effort where we believe that China will come to play a key role as enabler of the transition. Indeed, I'm firmly convinced that going forward, China will become the leading provider, the leading supplier of green maritime fuel. In conclusion, the future of the shipping and logistics industries lies at the intersection of digitalization and sustainability. We are committed to charting a course toward a future that embraces digitalization, sustainability, and resilience. So let us all, as also proposed by China merchants, work together, join hands to innovate and adapt to meet the evolving needs of our customers and indeed the needs of our planet. Thank you very much. 谢谢大家。
谢谢燕子先生。接下来有请
Thanks for his sharing. And now we would like to give the floor to Mr. Yu Weijiao, the CEO from the YTO. Please press welcome. Distinguished Mr. Yu Jianlong, distinguished leaders and guests, and entrepreneurs and colleagues, good afternoon. To hold the CISCE is an important way to promote the international cooperation in China. And also it provides opportunity for the companies to realize exchanges. According to President Xi, under the economic globalization, only by adhering to the openness of the supply chain, we can ensure the development.
The express delivery brings together production, consumption, online and offline presence, the domestic and also the international markets. It's of strategic, fundamental, and also pioneering importance for the national economy, and also priority for creating an integrated and resilient industrial chain and supply chain. It's of huge importance as an underpinning force. Over the years, commerce has been driving this sector, but going forward, it will be the other way around. And personally, I think in this sector, when it comes to the logistics supply chain, there will be 4 trends. The first is the trend towards connected global trade, which will not be reversed. It's true, we have deglobalization and also decoupling. However, global integration and connectivity, this is an irresistible and irreversible trend. Global trade is at the core of the global economy, and it will help the logistics industry become a better source of connectivity and synergy. Over the years, every year, China's express delivery amount has grown from 1 billion to 100 billion, and the annual business revenue has grown from 100 billion to 1 trillion. In 2023, we supported 13 trillion yuan in the online retail and also 1.83 trillion in the cross-border e-commerce export. And also by 17th November this year, we reported over 150 billion pieces in the express delivery. Our theme today is about connecting the networks, the infrastructure, the capacity, information, the ports, customs, payment and settlement solutions in order to support commerce, in order to bring together home and abroad, the upstream and the downstream, so that the supply chain can truly be safe, efficient, and also sustainable. And second is we are increasingly going from IT, digital technology, to smart technology and green technologies. And we believe in science and technology as the productivity boost. We believe our future lies in science and technology. After over 1 decade of R&D, we now can visualize our entire operation through a business management system that's real-time and mobile. We also have the system for managing customer services, the global cloud service, and the automated and managed dispatching system. And as a result, everything that we do is visualized, green, and also smart. Innovation is the only solution to the ongoing and future challenges. Innovation is the solution to everything. So in order to truly create a global supply chain, we in this sector need to invest in the R&D iteration of science and technology to continue to lead the innovations, and this will help bring lower cost, high efficiency for the entire industrial chain, and this will mean cheaper logistics service for everyone, more value for the customers. But this is not going to be easy. We have to stay committed. So that's how we're going to shape the future. And the third is to shift from single transport to multimodal transport, and that is a more urgent transition. China leads the world when it comes to transport. We have the world's largest transport infrastructure when it comes to the size and its capacity. But when compared with developed countries, we still have to truly connect the transport and logistics infrastructure. The connectivity is not there or is not ideal, and this is pushing our logistics cost up. To truly work together on supply chain and create a multimodal transport system, we need to bring together air, rail, sea, and public transport, increase information sharing, and do a better job when it comes to the customs information sharing and the standard setting for connectivity that will help break the information silo, cut the barriers that push up the transaction costs, and that will bring more efficient and effective solutions. And the fourth is the people want greater connectivity between China and the rest of the world. In history, openness and integration, this trend has never been stopped. Globalization in the economy will generate more positive spillovers, creating more vitality, inclusiveness, and sustainability in this new era. We have the largest consumer market and the full range of industrial categories. And when we create the global industrial chain, we will infuse greater certainties into the economic globalization that's filled with uncertainties. And that way, it's not just greater connectivity with the rest of the world, it's also more connected world in general. Now we hire about 450,000 employees. On an average daily basis, we handle 80 million parcels. We have 50 branches and offices in 18 countries, and every year by air we transport 120,000 tons, and also this is in addition to 150,000 TEUs by sea, and we have multimodal transport of road, rail, sea, and air, and we have brought together the logistics, commerce, information, capital, and also customs services. And building upon this super large market, we've really found a pathway that brings together the different segments of the industrial chain and supports the economy. The punctuality, accuracy, and stability of our system are all leading the world, and this means we can play a better role in the global supply and the industrial chain. Let me make it perfectly clear to everybody. Especially, this is a message for the business community represented here. For the past 20, 30 years, our leaders have been saying that get rich, you have to build roads first. And I want to add just one sentence, and that is to have commerce, you need logistics. I think that logistics are lagging behind. Think about it. How many of our logistics service providers can have this opportunity to let their voices heard? This is only my second opportunity to be here. I was here last year, and not long ago I visited Nicaragua and also other foreign destinations as part of the CCPIT delegation. So I think this is without doubt the best platform and opportunity for us to boost the logistics for the sake of commerce. In 2024, we believe this is the first year for our internationalization. In Jiaxing, part of the Zhejiang province, in the Yangtze River Delta, we're creating a port which is called the Chinese Memphis. It will help us launching to the international market and also benchmark against the Memphis in the U.S. Its total investment is 12.3 billion. The area is 1,500 mu, and we have planned about 100 parking spaces. The annual cargo and mail throughput is 2.4 million tons. It will be China's first global air logistics hub and international commercial distribution center for the Yangtze River Delta and a shared multimodal transport center. Going forward and building upon this particular center, we will set up 6 sub-centers in Almaty, in Dubai, in Middle East, in Budapest, in Europe, in Los Angeles, US, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Thailand in ASEAN. And that means we'll have a 1+6 network. Within 3 years, we want to truly connect China with the rest of the world, and within 5 years connect all parts of the world, and within 10 years there will be connectivity everywhere. I know this sounds very ambitious. The UPS, the world's largest express service provider, is also represented here. In 2007, I visited the US, and I also visited the UPS site. And then in 2009, I visited the Memphis site for the FedEx, and also I visited the Switzerland. I think we finished what UPS did in decades or within over 1 decade. So going forward, there will surely be a couple of Chinese service providers that will truly be able to connect with the up and the lower stream of this in the supply chain, creating more opportunities for China and the rest of the world. Excellencies and guests, ladies and gentlemen, China believes in the joint consultation, contribution, and shared benefits, and I think that is the principle to go as we create connectivity between China and the rest of the world. And this is certainly our vision, because we want our global industrial supply chain to be safe, unimpeded, efficient, and sustainable. We want to truly become the action taker that connects China with the rest of the world. We want to build the supply chain and contribute to the global industrial chain. We've always borne in mind what General Secretary Xi said, and that is, the road is long, but you will finish the journey as long as you start the journey, and the difficult as our target might be, as long as you stay committed to it, it will be done. Thank you. Our next speaker will be Adeline Franke, the CEO of CMA CGM, Greater China.
Dear Mr. Yu, Vice Chairman of CCPIT, distinguished guests, on behalf of the CMA CGM Group, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the CCPIT for inviting me on stage at the 2024 China International Supply Expo in Beijing. CMA CGM joined the first edition of the CISCE last year, and this year we are very glad to be here again to meet our customers, partners, and friends, and to exchange insights and with industry experts at this high-level forum. CMA CGM is a global player in sea, land, air, and logistics solutions. We operate in more than 160 countries and employ over 160,000 people worldwide. We are present in all transportation and supply chain segments to meet our customer needs for more resilient supply chains. 2024 marks the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties between France and China. It is also CMA CGM's 32-year anniversary here in China. During these decades, CMA CGM has developed into one of the largest key leaders in the Chinese shipping and logistics industry, with 18,000 employees and more than 90 direct maritime services. In China, CMA CGM loads one container every 5 seconds. And in China, CMA CGM operates air cargo planes, ro-ro ships, and over 2.3 million square meters in warehouses, allowing our customers to enjoy a dedicated end-to-end solution through their entire supply chain. CMA CGM has made the commitment to reach carbon neutrality by 2050. We have spoken about the importance of decarbonization in our industry. Decarbonization is at the heart of our strategy, and we are reducing our carbon footprint by, one, modernizing our assets. By 2028, we will have in our fleet 131 ships that can be propelled with low carbon energy. And number two, we are optimizing our operations. We have already cut by 50% our emissions by TU transported since 2008. And we are constantly investing to continue to innovate and optimize. CMA CGM is committed to promoting shipping decarbonization goals in line with China Green Development Goals. We are working closely with our Chinese partners to step up our transition, which can be demonstrated by our cold ironing agreement and program started with SIPG by the end of 2022. Or by the Memorandum of Understanding that we have signed last year with COSCO and SIPG to source and supply green methanol here in China. Throughout this path to neutrality, we are working closely together as well with our customers to share our decarbonization solutions. This is a growing demand, and even though not yet mainstream, we believe it is a critical proposition that will become larger and larger. The theme of this year's forum, Digital Transformation of Supply Chain Services, is one that is at the forefront of our group strategy. Innovation is embedded in CMA CGM DNA. The world is changing, digitalizing, and we as an industry need to adapt quickly. This is why CMA CGM is constantly developing new innovative digital tools, which help us enhance our operations, our efficiencies, reduce our environmental impact, but most importantly, improve our customer experience. To name a few, we have launched our Thunder solution. In line with China's digital economy strategy, 2 years ago, we launched our Thunder platform. It's a one-stop shop tax invoice delivery and online payment platform. Thunder allows our customers to use one single sign-in to print their tax invoice, complete online payments by integrating multiple platforms for both US dollar and renminbi payments, which is the first in China among foreign carriers. Secondly, our kiosk project. Our Chinese office also launched Kiosk, a world's leading digital solution that incorporates optical character recognition and artificial intelligence technologies, allowing CMA CGM customers to perform their operations without having to queue or interact with an office counter. Several months ago, the Kiosk projects received the Innovation Award for 2024 Top 30 Innovation Cases by Ports and Shipping Logistics from China Shipping Gazette, recognizing CMA CGM great efforts in digital innovation and transformation. We have also launched My CMA CGM platform, and here in China, our own CMA CGM WeChat mini program, allowing our customers in just a few clicks to get a quotation, find itineraries, reserve capacity, calculate their carbon footprint, check their booking status, find their invoices and faipiao, and many more, all from their smartphones if they want to. And finally, we also launched earlier this year our C Reward program, our group loyalty program, from our online quotation tool, Spot On. It allows our customers to accumulate nautical miles like fidelity points and obtain discounts on their future shipments with Spot On. As we like to say, you ship, you win. But the hot topic of the moment is artificial intelligence. We do believe that AI applications will become a game changer for the years to come. At CMA-CGM, we trust that embracing these new technologies early is critical. As such, the group has developed an ambitious AI strategy and invested in the AI ecosystem through ZBox Venture to support startups that are highly advanced in AI, such as Mistral AI, a French unicorn, and Poolside, among others. Last year, our chairman and CEO, Rodolphe Saadé, launched QTAI, a European AI research lab founded together with Xavier Niel and Eric Schmidt. It is critical for us at this stage to partner with the leaders in the field and drive our internal transformation through various initiatives AI can have in our activities. We believe that ultimately they will bring strong benefits to our associates and our customers. To conclude, we look forward to participating in the unveiling groundbreaking technologies and sustainable solutions that will shape the future of global trade. In China, being a leader in technological investments and green initiatives, CMA-CGM is committed to working together with our Chinese partners to accelerate the development and adoption of cutting-edge digital solutions and sustainable practices. We are only at the early stage of supply chain digitalization and at the very early stage for more advanced technologies such as AI. But we are convinced that while human interaction will remain central in how we conduct business, technology is set to revolutionize the way we work by improving our associates' experience and accelerate and personalize our customer experience. Thank you very much.
感谢方爱玲女士。
Thanks
接
for
下
a
来有
fabulous
请联
speech.
邦快递中国
And
区
now
总
we
裁
want to
徐
give
宝
floor
燕女士
to
进
Ms.
行
Xu
发言。
Baoyan, the president from the FedEx China. Distinguished leaders and also colleagues from the industry, good afternoon. It is a great honor to be on behalf of the FedEx to discuss about the digitalization of the supply chain and also share our experiences and also our observations. Around 1/3 of the business in the world is closely related to supply chain. Supply chain have become the competitiveness of the companies. However, with the change of the market and also the externalities, the supply chain is facing unprecedented challenges. The digital transformation will bring opportunities to the supply chain, and the key technologies are reshaping the whole industry. For example, artificial intelligence and ML, machine learning, and they will realize the automatic decision-making. IoT technologies use sensors to capture the data from different links, realize the visualization, and empower the companies to have the quick response to the changes in the market. The blockchain can improve transparency and improve traceability of supply chain, and also ensure compliance. At the same time, the cloud computing will tap the value behind and to provide the databases and also RPA. And this robotic automation will improve our efficiency as the largest, one of the largest FedEx. Our vision in the world is to establish more intelligent supply chain and optimize the processes and improve the growth of our customers. FedEx have been promoting a lot of digital solutions. For example, FedEx solution. And this is analysis tool based on AI. Every day it will deal with millions of data and to help the companies to make precise accuracy. And also another two tools will provide the real-time traceability and also monitoring. In terms of intelligent devices, in Guangzhou, we have the automatic pickup and sorting machines, and to deal with the increase of the delivery boxes. And this kind of robots improve our sorting out and pickup efficiency. And also in Shanghai, we use the digital auto and automatic forklift to efficiency. To use artificial intelligence and cloud, we promote the customer clearance online platform to provide more efficient customer clearance services to our customers, and also FedEx Experience platform integrate e-commerce services and also provide customized recommendation and to help the customer to optimize their transformation and improve their services experiences. In the future, we think that some technologies will rechange the sector. First of all, is super customized services. Right now, the customer pay great attention to customer services, whether it is the ordering and the service providing. Through the analysis of AI, we can use low cost to provide customized solution to our customers so as to improve their loyalty and satisfaction. And the second one is the end-to-end visualized control. Customers has increased demand for the control and visualization. Blockchain and IoT will facilitate the all-round visualization. And the third one is digital twins. Through the simulation of the automatic processes, digital twins will help the companies to predict what will happen and improve their operation efficiency. And right now, we are already trying to tap the potential of digital twin, for example, apps that to maximize the freight cargo and to reduce the cost. And fourthly, with more rigorous ecological regulation, the digital transformation will help the companies to optimize resources and establish the recycling and green supply chain. And this year marks the 40th anniversary of FedEx. In the future, we will also be tailored to the needs of customers, promote digital transformation to establish more efficient and more intelligent platform and to promote the worldwide connectivity. And also, we are looking forward to working together with everyone here and make contribution to the continuous prosperity of the supply chain industry. Welcome. Thank you all. Thanks for her fabulous speech. And now we would like to give the floor to Mr. Yin Xiaopeng from the UIBE. Welcome. Distinguished President Yu, distinguished colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a great honor to participate into the second session of the CISCE. And also, I'm a researcher in terms of the supply chain, production chain, etc. First of all, I would like to give the great wishes to the second Expo. And also, I would like to share of my personal insights. And you all know that the market mechanism and division of labor is very important for the globalization. And they improve the efficiency. Therefore, we not only pay great attention to the professionalism at the domestic market and also at overseas. And by increasing welfare, etc., we also improve professionalism from the 1970s.
所以那个时候我们称之为全球生产链，然后国际贸易剧增，这个各国经济联系进一步加强，在经济学理论上也突破了，产生了我们称为叫新贸易理论那个时代，从上世纪70年代开始。所以到了本世纪初，各国的情况基本安定和不恐吓因素 逐步减少，以经济全球化为代表的这个全球化浪潮来吸引全世界，以全球布局的为目标的全球生产链，或者是政府所关注的以产业分类的全球产业链，也就是我们经济学上以生产链上每一个节点的增加值为衡量单位的全球价值链，成为我们全球化后面的主要动因和推手。那基于外部各个因素对产业链的每一个环节出现的问题的担忧，近年来人们着重强调全球生产链各个环节在供应上的重要性，命名为全球供应链。这几个链的叫法不一样，但是本质都是一样，都是我们所说的在全球展开的一个供应链。
As we call it, the supply chain. And in essence, these are all the production chains. And the multinationals, they would invest in the whole world in order to understand the needs of the world and decide where to produce, where to distribute. They decide the production, trade, investment, R&D, shaping their own supply chain. But at the end of the day, they are still there to help maintain and expand the supplies for the businesses who are subject to the factors beyond their control. In the past 3 or 7 years, we've had 3 external impacts: the foreign government policies, in particular trade and industrial policies, and also COVID and other natural disasters, and also the war in Ukraine and between Israel and Palestine, the geopolitical conflicts. They are very damaging to the economy and the supply chain. However, as an economist, I don't think these are the long-term impact or really serious impact. On the other hand, technologies will make a lasting difference on the global supply chain, and this is not reversible. As we find solutions to manage the short-term shocks, we need to adapt to the science and technology, finding new solutions to a stable global supply chain. This Expo is designed to find more partners for China and also beyond in the production and the supply chain in order to drive R&D that stabilize the supply chain. It also helps the production, exchange, and development for the whole world, including the 120 Belt and Road countries. I think the keywords this year are high technology and supply chain. To be more specific, we are zooming on the key sectors that represent new technologies and are high on our agenda. And this is how we should go ahead. That is digital economy plus IoT with special technologies playing a part. I think in the supply chain, our manufacturing is now expanding. It's seizing new vantage points when it comes to science and technology to unveil more high-tech products, stabilizing the current supply chain, and also transforming the traditional industries for the future. I think there are 6 themes for this Expo. This is how I see them. The digital science and technology chain affects all of them. Digital trade is the focus on the e-commerce, extending the distribution channels. However, the production end needs more of our efforts. So the digital chain of science and technology needs to focus on the adoption of science and technology for both production and also retailing. With production, perhaps give it more attention, and this will help the digital technologies find the applications in the emerging and traditional industries. I think this will help create an ideal digital economy because it's not just about the trade, it's also about production. Now, the clean supply chain is important about the new energies and clean energies. The new energies are mostly clean or less polluting energies, and they help diversify our energy mix and cut emission for the future. I think some of the new energies might not be the priority, but we do have some advantages, mostly in the PV power generation, with investment in the whole industrial chain. There are patent limitations, but still this is an area where we can get something done, where we have an advantage. The intelligent automotive chain is not just important for the when it comes to using the clean energies in the batteries, it's also hugely important for other new technologies. There is so much that can be done here. Also, it's an important part of the future transport system. It's really something that can be implemented as a new technology. It's rather a new industry now, rather not like the traditional industry. Also, the healthy life chain is about health products and everything we're using in our everyday life. There are a lot of good designs, and they're all related to the e-commerce. Production is increasingly high tech, and we are getting closer to the market. So more revenue, faster return on investment, and also may favor with the investors. And this is probably one area which is easiest developed. Also, the green agricultural supply chain, so environmental protection, and also it covers all the productions. Also, the dual carbon target has set up for China, and also is what the world expects. There are also the changing public opinion, and the CBAN from Europe is imposing taxes on environmental protection, and these products will be more quickly discovered. So we need to transition faster and use new technologies. And also in this supply chain, talking about the agriculture, food safety that will have greater value added with help of technologies. And compared with last year, a big feature this year is the new theme, the advanced manufacturing chain. It's very good. After all, it affects a lot of things, that touches a lot of things that haven't really been talked about, that haven't found actual applications. And by setting up this theme, we are able to really represent more of the high-tech products and innovations and new ideas, and this is an important underpinning of the supply chain. The supply chain service area will coordinate all of the 6 themes, and this Expo is an important platform that covers everything imaginable in the modern industry that can help us keep us with where the technology is, finding the new business opportunities. It can solidify our manufacturing advantage, and by providing exposure to high techs, we expect the supply chain, when it comes to the supply end, we will be free from the supply of certain products and free from the disruption, and new products will find new applications, and new technologies will find more applications, and our supply and industrial chains will be stronger. China and the rest of the world can benefit from this economic globalization. I think this is the best takeaway from this Expo. We also believed in that, and the best wishes to this Expo. And hopefully it can make its due contribution to the global supply stability and economic prosperity. Thank you. Thank you for your speech. Next step is the panel 1, and I'll be the moderator. I'm from CGTN. My name is Dai Kai. Our topic is upgrading and innovation in the supply chain management. We are joined by President of Xiamen Guomao Group Company Cai Yingbing. President and CEO of Dahua Bank China Fu Miaozan, Deputy General Manager of Zhejiang Merchants Zhongtuo Group Lei Bangqin, Chief Marketing Officer of SF Technology Tang Kai, and Director of the Institute of Data Science and Intelligent Decision Making at Huazhong University of Science and Technology Deng Shiming. Welcome. The dual round of technological revolution and industrial revolution are reshaping the global supply chain and also industrial chain. Now we are going to zoom in on how new technologies can better manage the supply chain for efficiency boost, for cost performance, and also we will talk about the cross-departmental cooperation over the supply chain. Let me first turn to Cai Yingbing, President of Xiamen Guomao Group. Hello to you, Mr. Cai. I understand that supply chain management is your main business. You were created in the early days of reform and opening up 40 years ago, and you've been transforming from a commodity trader and then to a supply chain service provider. Now you are investing in 3 chains. So what are the 3 chains, and how is this strategy upgrading your supply chain and enabling cross-sectoral partnerships? Well, thank you, and hello to everybody here. I really like this opportunity to talk about what we've learned when it comes to supply chain management. As the moderator just said, internally and externally, the environment is very complicated and chaotic. We have opportunities and challenges when it comes to restructuring our supply chain, and that means thinking out of the box. In 2023, our revenue was 460 billion yuan, very high. How do we benchmark against the top supply chain managers and transform, upgrade what we do? That is a big challenge. In 2023, we set a new strategy, the integration of 3 chains: supply, industrial, and value chains. These are not standalone chains, rather they reinforce each other. This you all know, the supply chain and the industrial chain with their extension support, and the value chain will also be upgraded. Now, in the supply chain, we have been increasing our investment, covering more services in order to help our partners find more value-oriented solutions. And in doing so, we could bring together trade and our support for trade. Now, also the industrial chain, we zoom in on the strategically valuable sectors so as to deliver value for our clients, and this will help reinforce the industrial chain and fix the weak links. Okay, I don't think this mic is working. So that is our strategy. the non-ferrous metal, ferrous metal, the energy, and also chemical engineering. Altogether, 8 sectors have been prioritized, and they are driven by our internationalization strategy, modernization, and also adoption of digital technologies. We are working with some of the top industry players, setting up joint projects or joint ventures to gain industrial insights. In the Malacca Straits of Singapore, we set up the floating storage for about 2 million barrels of petroleum, and it's now part of the indicator for the petroleum pricing mechanism, and this is giving us a certain say in the oil pricing system. Also, we are part of the national commodities company for the contract, and it's led by the Shanghai Exchange, and we come in as one of the 10 suppliers. So these are what we've achieved. Also, in the internationalization, we focus on Southeast Asia, Africa, and also Latin America. For example, in South Africa, sorry, I couldn't hear you. In South Africa, we have some strong new energy partners. Also in Indonesia, we build upon the local resources to develop our own resources. In Uzbekistan, Vietnam, we have the cotton weaving industry, and the same is true for other markets out there. Also, digitalization, innovation, the technologies are really important. So we are using digital tools and platforms to cut costs and to better increase the customer loyalty. All of these are what we've done in order to serve the whole process of supply chain that's at the core of our business, which is driven by internationalization, and this is also underpinned by our value chain, and that goes to our core competitiveness.
As you say that we can use intelligent technology and digital technology, we can empower the supply chain. And please briefly share about your cloud platform. This is a brandly new topic. In fact, the intelligent and digitalization is a new technology that we need to pay great attention to, because as we know that supply chain is a very large size. For example, just we also discuss about this kind of topics. It has a very long supply chain, and also it involves a lot of links. Therefore, there are a lot of pressures and difficulties in managing. That's why we need to use the intelligent and digital technology to improve our efficiency. And right now, by using these technologies, we reduce our cost, improve our efficiency, and realize the data visualization sector. And through this kind of digital connectivity with our customers, we also provide a lot of services and deal with a lot of painful points. Great fruitful results have been achieved. For example, through our cloud platform, we save about 50% of our cost, and we have a one-click service. For that one, our staff improve 50% of our efficiency in terms of the input and output of orders. We increase our skill and do not increase our cost of labors. And also, we have a logistic terminal. For example, we have a warehousing platform. We provide the online services to over 4,000 customers. And also for the bill services, we shorten the data collecting period from 1 month to 1 day. This kind of services improve a lot of our efficiency. That's why we get a lot of honors. For example, we get rewards from the China Logistics Association that we are a leading company for the innovation of the logistics, and also our logistic cloud platform, and also get the yearly best case for the business from MOFCOM. And we believe that in the future, we will pursue the digital development, improve connectivity, and also integrate the real data and integrate it with our service to improve the new productive forces. And we also witnessed that the great contribution made by the Xiamen ITG, and also how they change about the operation of the supply chain. Not only improve efficiency, but also improve the stickiness of the supply chain. And now we would like to give the floor to Mr. Fu Maozan, the President and CEO of the UOB. In fact, for UOB, it already established its office back to the 1980s. And then it was officially established in Shanghai. And also it covers business in whole Asia-Pacific region. That's why UOB is very important for the industrial supply chain. So, in your idea, what role do UOB provide in the supply chain? So, first of all, I would like to give the brief introduction about UOB. We are the foreign invested banks. Our role is to empower and to serve at the bridge between the Chinese and the overseas business. In China, we have the domestic 5 SOE banks. We not only provide financial support, more importantly, the banks should support the development of the real economy. That's why it needs to deal with some financial risks, whether it is in the market or provide services for individual companies. And also, you should have understanding and comprehension of the customers. As a bank, we mainly provide financial services, especially financing in the supply chain. We have been established in China for 40 years. Over the past 7 or 8 years, due to the deepening ties between China and ASEAN countries, we get a lot of benefits. And now ASEAN and China are the largest partner for each other. Therefore, we position ourselves as a service provider to provide the cross-border financial services. We find a lot of companies has increasing demand for cross-border financial services. As our largest branch in Asia, especially in Malaysia and Thailand, we have a lot of cooperation with the new energy vehicle and automatic vehicle. And also in Vietnam, we have over 4,000 subsidiaries. We not only provide financing and cross-border services, we also establish one-stop financial services and also a whole ecosystem. For example, we have the Green Channel for the trade. We have 13 banks in China, and also we work together with Hongfeng, and also work as a shareholder of Hongfeng Bank. We work together with Hongfeng to provide services to the customer together. Therefore, we provide the cross-border financial pool and the one-stop services. For example, to open the banks and also some innovative products, and also to help the company to manage their wealth and also control their risk and satisfy more demands of them. Generally speaking, we try to realize the exchanges between RMB and also those currencies from those small countries in ASEAN. So if you have interest in it, you can add up the WeChat account to me or my colleagues. Because the currency exchange between RMB and also those currencies from ASEAN countries is very large. Although right now the amount is very small, and it also involves more risks. And also the currency ratio between RMB and to that of ASEAN country is less fluctuated. We provide this kind of services. We not only have the certification from the POB, and also last year we promoted the currency exchange services between RMB and also the rupiah from Indonesia. And we serve as the bridge between the two markets. Therefore, we need to update the price every day. And also we have insights in the local payment system. Therefore, in terms of providing financial services and cross-border financial services, we can do it more skillfully. Another very important aspect is we use digitalization and also intelligent technology to optimize our services for those companies when they need the supply chain services. For the financial service companies have the highest level of digitalization, not only from the 1980s, even to now. We find the blockchain technologies or the asset portfolio based on blockchain have great prospects, but more financial banks, we need to go back to our original business. Based on the digitalization of the industrialization, recently we released the UAB utility, that is the measurement of the flow, cash flow. It can connect RMB and other major currencies and even some minor currencies. Through this kind of cross-border cash pool, we can help them to transfer their industry and also connect even their upstream and the downstream companies so that they can improve their efficiencies dramatically. These technologies not only provide facilitations and also integrate the services at one stop, include from the purchases to marketing and also the invoice and even the payment. Through the digital empowerment, we streamline the document and the desktop work, and also improve the transparency of information. Just as was mentioned by the CEO from FedEx, we will help the companies to clearly know about their needs for their financial situation and also to make more smart financing decisions. In terms of the cross-border financial, cross-logistic and supply chain, what is the biggest challenge for you? First of all, the ASEAN is not a unified nation. It involves different currencies and different languages. Therefore, headquartered in Singapore, our language, official language is English. Therefore, for many countries, if they can use English, it will be much more helpful. In terms of liquidity management, we have the unified standard, and also we focus on agile, smart solution, and to have more participation into the currency exchanges between different countries. At the same time, we hope that we can provide a more transparent funding cost to the customers and to help them to manage their wealth in a more foreseeable method. And also they can use their fund in those places in need. And also as an intermediary, when there is information and this metric, we can play our role.
Across ASEAN, we are very active. We don't claim to be active globally. And the moderator just said we are active in Asia Pacific, but our home market, I think, is still in the ASEAN. So the finance, we provide connectivity solutions that bring you in touch with the central bank, with the government. We also help you understand the monetary policies in China and other jurisdictions. Well, thank you very much. I agree when it comes to cross-border supply chain management, the banks are very important. They are also very unique in the upgrading and innovation. And we need to think ahead about the potential risks. Besides the cross-border, the supply chain management will be a long-term challenge. So thank you. Now, our next panelist will be Lei Bangjing, the Deputy General Manager from Zhejiang Merchants Zhongtuo Group. Hello. And hello to you. You are a listed company in commodities dedicated to becoming a world's leading organizer and manager of the supply chain. The world is increasingly fragmented and complicated. How do you uphold your internationalization strategy? Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lei Bangjing. A few words about my company. We are a listed company controlled by the state. Our largest shareholder is the local transport investment agency. We are in the supply chain management for commodities. You all know this very well. So for the upstream and lower stream clients, we provide warehouse, price management, transport, the full package of services. The ferrous metal, coke, the steel, ores, and also non-ferrous metals like aluminum, copper, and zinc, and also ONG, the refineries. Besides, we also are active in new energies, and our physical commodities every year are over 100 million tons. Our revenue is about 200 billion. So, back to the question. Globalization and deglobalization, this is how I see it. I think globalization is the big trend. However, this comes in against the backdrop of, I think, history, but now because of geopolitics, because of the economic downturns, there is deglobalization. I think that's natural to have. When you have globalization, they coexist. We choose the side of globalization. And globalization obviously is important. We certainly can see the macro importance of it. with where China is, where the industry and where the businesses are. To truly have a better life for all, you have to do businesses all over the world. You have to find clients to support from all over the world. So we believe internationalization is needed for our survival, for our future. It's also needed to truly become a world-leading business. So it's very important. And we've also been acting upon that choice. The first is it's part of our strategy. For example, we've teamed up with the world's top management consultancies, designing our internationalization strategy. And that strategy defines our targets, our priority areas, business models, our business portfolio, capacity building needs, and all the supportive systems. I think that strategy is very important. When you operate a company this large, you cannot afford to make strategic mistakes. And secondly, the capacity building, in particular, the key capacities and skills. Good people are essential for anything you want to do. In particular, for internationalization, you need professional skills, and once you have them, you will be able to expand your business, and that is quite obvious. And also, thirdly, our network. Internationalization means we have to operate internationally, not just, between four walls. You don't just operate with the help of a computer. So you have to create the network in Chinese Hong Kong, in Singapore, Thailand, in Malaysia. We all have established our presence, and this will be followed by Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. We believe this is very important. As a service provider, you need the network, you need bridgeheads, so to speak, that help reach the audience and that help with localization. So, network. And fourthly, also very important, the compliance, so risk control. And here we're talking about the risks of host countries, different laws, different environments, and different cultures. And in a new environment, you need to control risks of your receivables, payables, and exchange rate, warehouse, and pricing. That is a new challenge for us. So, for us, our system, our policies, and capacities have all need to keep up. And lastly, it's important to find more partners. I think this is obvious to everybody. We are in the supply chain business, and that means you have the upstream, the downstream, and also the midstream, the infrastructure, the ecosystems, like processing, warehousing, and also professional service providers like price management, and also the banks, right? They all need it. We are sort of in the financial business. You cannot survive without financial support. And lastly, something that has come up, the digital and smart technologies to empower management and innovations. And this is how I see it. The world is increasingly connected. The connectivity is more accurate and also more frequent. We see this in many areas. Take the war in Ukraine as an example. It's all precision-guided missiles. The same is also true for the basketball. You don't really take the ball to the middle of the court and then try to penetrate the defense. Rather, you just shoot the three-point goal, and that means digitalization is really important. Yes, I agree. Digital and smart transition is crucial. It's also key to the transitioning. So how much is your investment in that area? Well, I think we've all talked about the general importance of that. Let me just share with you what we've done on the ground. The way we see it, the digital smart transition, I think you can think of power, high-speed railway, and everything else. Without them, you won't die immediately, but you cannot really compete. So that shows how important it is. To be more specific, what is the value of that? I actually know from my experience, because I work on the digital transition. First, it can boost our operation, bringing everything we do online, visualizing everything, sharing knowledge faster. For example, the approval process can be streamlined, and that means we can be more adaptive and responsive to the market, to our customers. That is one big benefit. And secondly, with management of what it is today, we need to rely on data to make rational decisions. And that means you need to gather, analyze, mine, and use the data. In particular, commodities. It's also strong, very much a financial industry. Artificial intelligence, when would it be more valuable? Well, the more connected it is, the more data it handles, the more valuable it is. And that's why it finds its first big application in the finance. Same is true for the commodities business. You have to work with the other partners, analyzing, gathering the data. So I think definitely it will help you make informed decisions, and also it can drive business innovations. It's not just about doing everything electronically. It can help the transaction parties work in different ways, bringing more transparency and speed into the sharing information, and this will restructure the transaction process, and that means our business might have new models, and this will help drive the business innovations. And fourthly, also very important, perhaps more strategic, is the resilience of your supply. With these new technologies, you will be able to create your own moat, and this will help stabilize your supply chain and give you greater competitiveness. So that's how I see the value of the transition. Obviously, digital transition is high on our agenda. Our chairman is personally committed to it, personally involved in setting up projects, in understanding the needs, and also personally involved in gathering the feedback for the digital systems, because our chairman believes that personal involvement is needed in important projects, also investment in the form of money and also people. Otherwise, you cannot really claim this is something important to you. In 2008, we took over, and in the past 16 years, we've invested cumulative of 100 million in the transition. So we need to keep the investment flowing can keep the iteration going on. As long as it's good for your management, for your business, certainly you will be able to see the benefits of digitalization. And we see this in some of our KPIs. We are using the digital technologies to screen and identify customers, to review the contracts faster, to ensure payment safety, to monitor logistics flow, and also to make the risk management decisions based on the data. Everything is empowered by digital technologies. So we do believe in digital technologies. We're willing to keep investing in it, and we'll be more than happy to host you in the future. Well, obviously, this is a company that is very active about digital transition, which means a greater core competitiveness despite the complicated geopolitics. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is SF Technology, the Chief Marketing Officer, Tang Kai. Hello. Now, the general purpose large language models are gaining traction. They are finding applications, and this is something highly anticipated. Also, we want to know how to use these models to fix the biggest challenges at the lowest cost. I understand the SF Technology released the Fengzhi for the logistics decision making, and it builds upon your company's many years of experience and advantages in the supply business. So where do you think the big foundation model can come in?
Thank you for introduction. Before talk about intelligence, I want to talk about digitalization of supply chain. So whether it's just a hype or it is a real need. And here are three natures. First of all, labor, resource, and internet intensity. When these three natures reach a certain kind of level, without the intelligent network, we cannot realize the synergy. Therefore, the end-to-end supply is the indispensable route for the digitalization of supply chain. Based on the end-to-end technology, we pay attention to AI or large language model represented by ChatGPT. That is different from the traditional machine learning, or that one based on the large-scale calculation. However, over the past 2 years, we can hardly find the application of 2B or 2C because it will be very hard to explain, and it is very professional. When it comes to LLM, therefore, the universal LLM is just like the graduate students from the high school. They have some basic understanding of the world, but if we want to apply it to the enterprises, we need to have professional training of it. Therefore, for SF, we have two large model. One is a large language model, and another one is the large algorithm. For that, the large language one, we use the data in the upstream and downstream to have further training so that it will have professionalism in the supply chain. It is like receive the undergraduate education in SF. And therefore, in terms of large language model or the visual recognition, it can do a lot of recognition. The most difficult is to receive the different boxes and mails from different countries. Therefore, we can submit it to the Fengyu large language model. It can give efficient answer And also, even one picture, it will use a visual recognition. It will judge whether it can receive and deal with it or not, and what should be cautious of. And when we talk about this large language model, it is much more related to literary things. It has a lot of knowledge and can answer some questions. However, for artificial intelligence in people's imagination, it should be based on science. Therefore, we also have the vertical model expansion. And since ChatGPT, we have language and visual, and then to have the audio recognition. Therefore, based on the large model transformation, and also we put it into the model of the humans' feedback. Therefore, we witness some major breakthroughs. First of all is for the prediction of the sales. And we make the prediction of the sales for the largest coffee chain in the world. And it meets some difficulties when opening the new stores. Therefore, we use the multimodal analysis based on the large language model, and the accuracy rate has been increased by 5%. In the traditional language knowledgeable fields, it's hard to achieve this kind of breakthrough. And also, we use the underlying layer of the large language model to enter the core part of the supply chain. First of all is the path optimization. For example, in the urban routes, we can optimize the road route. After we rewriting it by use the large language model, previously, it will take 10 minutes to finish the calculation. Right now, we just need 0.05 seconds to finish calculation. So previously, we just use 100 GPU. Right now, we just use 5 GPU. Therefore, the calculation time and efficiency has been increased. And in fact, the final outcome is same or even much better than the previous one. Another one is that the operation efficiency has been increased by 30%, and the cost and the usage of waste has been reduced by 30 times. Therefore, in terms of the large language model can have disruptive costs in the supply chain. That's why we spend so many time on the large language model. We think that the vertical large-scale model in the supply chain or in various industries will have more promising future. And we heard these two large models, and they will have a lot of space for imagination in the future. And also, I think that all the participants here will be quite looking forward to the fabulous experience and services it can provide. So in the future, how to realize the in-depth cooperation with the supply chain and to realize digitalization. For SF, we have 3 phases of digitalization. First of all is the factor, and right now we enter the scenario digitalization. Because we provide services to the business customers. So we are fully integrated with the operation and management of the business companies. So our digitalization doesn't represent the digitalization of business sector. So if we go to the upstream, we can find there is a huge room for the end-to-end digitalization. space in China, we can find there is a great space for this kind of digital connection. Previously, we talked about the large-scale model. We also observe the digital application can be divided into the visible and the invisible parts. For the invisible parts, we can also make a lot of breakthroughs. We can find the humanoid robots have been developed very rapidly, and also for the automatic driving. And also in the visible supply chain, we can end the dark light factory. Right now, we already have this kind of factory, but for the supply chain, once we can have this kind of robots, we can realize the dark light transportation and logistics also. Another one is in the invisible part, for example, the prediction for the whole supply chain. For the large-scale model, it can improve the efficiency and reduce the cost. More importantly, the end-to-end link in the supply chain, whether we have the full digitalization capability in the links of the supply chain. If we cannot do it, it will still be the empty words. So how can we realize the end-to-end digitalization? It is much more important. With it, we can see that the supply industry will witness a great leap forward. So based on this kind of large-scale model and also experience of SF, we can see that large model can improve efficiency, reduce cost, and also can better use the resources. It not only provide intelligent solution to companies and also provide mindset for the digitalization transformation of the whole industry. And now we would like to give the floor to Mr. Deng Shiming from the Data Science and Intelligent Decision Making of Huazhou University of Science and Technology. And here are a lot of counter globalization voice and actions. Therefore, how to realize the cooperation between university, research institutes, and enterprises to deal with this kind of counter globalization. Because I myself is an expert and a researcher, so I would like to share my insights after Trump takes office. We will face a lot of pressure from counter-globalization. Therefore, cooperation in the supply chain will be much more important. In the counter-globalization, especially when Chinese enterprises go global, they will meet more uncertainties. For example, those one from the war, from the policies, and also from the pandemic. Therefore, the cooperation becomes the most important way to deal with all those uncertainties. So for the supply chain, we need to change the mindset, not only the mindset of one company, and in fact, it involves the mindset change of every link in the upstream, the medium stream, and the lower stream. And also, this one should, from the bottom down, structure. That means management team should have this kind of clear mindset and to establish the structure and then to manage it. Otherwise, a short link will lead to the deficiency of the whole supply chain. That's why I think it is very important to have this kind of synergy. However, in practice, for all enterprises, they have their own interest or their own starting points. So when it comes to the cooperation, there will be excessive competition, especially when it comes to explore the overseas market. For example, the photovoltaic and also the RO in the European market. We see this kind of phenomenon. In the future, because there is a possibility of exacerbating counter-globalization, how to realize the reasonable cooperation between companies will be more important. And also for some companies, maybe they already have the contact with governments and also they have the link, open up the link in the market. Therefore, the enterprises should have far-sighted views. They need to think about what will I want to share, and also when some company receive these kind of benefits, what they can give in turn. I think that cooperation is very important of entrepreneurship. And only when they want to cooperate with others, they can deal with more uncertainties. So I, first of all, suggested that for the companies, when they explore the overseas market, they need to strengthen cooperation because it is very hard for them to deal with the overseas market, especially they will feel a lot of risk when they try to invest in this kind of markets. Therefore, if we have mutual help and we have cooperation, we can lower the cost of company themselves and others. Therefore, the companies should pay attention to it. Another one is the very traditional one, that is the cooperation between the upstream and downstream. Right now, we talk about digitalization. So if there is no needs from the downstream market, it will be useless to realize digitalization in the upstream. So the digitalization is not one matter of one company. Therefore, we should trade both the upstream and the downstream well. And right now, there are competition for the future innovation rather than the traditional low price or the winner gets all. This kind of model is no longer usable. And right now, the foreign markets already tell us the story of excessive capacity.
My advice is bringing the entire supply chain together for innovation. A lot of the industry players do not have in-house design. They rely on the external service providers for the design. So here comes the entire ecosystem, which consists also of other service providers like banks and logistics. So you need you need a supply chain strategically and then backed by technologies. And then you will be able to truly break the silos between different ends. And this is how I see the digitalization empowering the supply chains. There are some very good system designs, like how to split the profit, like how to manage the contracts, which are big challenges for the sector. But as long as people are on board, everything that follows should be easy. And that is how we cope with the counter-globalization. That is how we really boost the what we call the internal circulation, with the external circulation now failing. Thank you. Yes, recently there have been some new innovations. The big data, cloud computing, and also artificial intelligence bring both challenges and opportunities. And for people in the supply chain business, how do we use digital technology to empower us? I think the colleague from the SF technology had a very good large language model. But this only works when you are already quite digitally advanced. And this has to be part of your corporate strategy. We have a lot of industrial partners, and they have digitalization, but departments like finance, like marketing, and that would be silos of information that are not communicating with each other. You could change that with the information center desk, but that is very expensive. Also, we're not just talking about just using digital technologies. It's about new mindset, new management philosophies, all the way from top down. And that's how you truly have thorough digitalization. We have some failures in the industry, perhaps because they didn't design their strategy right. The process wasn't really sophisticated enough, and that means the strategy cannot really be implemented, and it would be even more expensive to fix that wrong design. Also, businesses are reluctant to invest in digitalization. They see this as a one-off. But what about the maintenance, upgrading, and also the interface? Sometimes some of the businesses just give up their digital assets. This has happened quite frequently. So my advice is you have to see the strategic importance of the investment in digitalization. It has to be sustained in a partnership with your software providers, and that will help to sustain your digitalization transition. That being said, businesses are not really that enthusiastic about the investment because you cannot really, it's not that the successes are not that visible. It's not like computing power or the different projects you have for artificial intelligence. These you can see, but the digital transition is an invisible asset you cannot see. And in the financial statement, it's actually in the category of a cost, but the benefits are not really that visible. So the business managers really are struggling to see the value of the digitalization investment, and this means you need to buy in from the executives. They need to be strategically visionary enough to see the value of this investment without seeing the immediate return. So first and foremost, it has to be your strategic priority. Don't just focus on what's visible. You have to see the invisible benefits. So that is my advice. Besides, AI and big data are now the buzzwords, and Mr. Tang talked about the ChatGPT. I understand that most of the business leaders actually are not that tech savvy to know what AI can do for them. You don't really just bring off-the-shelf AI solutions. It would be very dangerous. They might help. They might give you a 15 or 5% performance boost, but the solutions have to be customized. They have to be tailored to your business needs, and that is not really the right approach. So when it comes to artificial intelligence and our management, we have to realize that it exists for the decision making. No matter how you approach it, it has to really inform your decision making in order to truly mine the data. And that is a very important process. It's not just about using existing algorithms to solve your challenges. It might work, but it's not certainly the optimal situation. We've found a lot of these cases in our research, and we know that if you just rely on the supporting backing machines or the vector machines for prediction, if you don't really factor in its tie with decision making, you might lose 20% of the real benefits. Besides, AI algorithm doesn't really actually factor in a lot of the constraints you have to face when you make decisions, and that is really important to have the natural constraints, budgetary constraints, the constraints of process, and also manpower. You cannot really embed them in the general purpose algorithm. So these solutions have to be customized to your business needs in order to truly bring value, but this would require some sort of investment. So in general, strategically, you need to see the importance of artificial intelligence. You cannot just borrow the existing solutions out there, because that would be dangerous. Also, let me highlight another thing. We're talking about the digital transition, so you have to find data, but what about where do the data come from, and what about the data quality? And this means partnership across the supply chain. One thing that has been missing from this dialogue today is the government. It's the most important factor. It has the best data, and the government disclosure is quite good, but not yet ideal. For example, the customs data are still heavily guarded, and that's very important for the cross-border e-commerce. It's a huge waste of time. We need to educate the government about the importance of the supply chain, and not just the government government officials, but some of the government leaders. I think whatever Trump is doing shows his ignorance of the supply chain and the division of labor. It's purely driven by geopolitics, but I don't think he is in the clear as to the economic losses. Tim Cook is also reshoring, but it's very expensive, and a lot of the components have to be sourced from China. Now, I understand a lot of the international businesses are represented here. I think the Chinese government is already quite ahead of everybody else when it comes to supply chain. I understand that the SF Huahu Airport is right next to our office in Wuhan, so I know how supportive the Chinese government is. And I think for the cross-border e-commerce, you have to come into contact with the customs, and the customs and their sorting system could work together. So online clearing when the sorting is still underway. This is only possible with the government support. That is an innovation that saves a lot of time for the businesses. And so in creating the architecture for the supply chain, government is very important. I also hope that we can share more knowledge about the supply chain when we talk with government officials, that they realize the important roles that they can play. After all, they can be a source of data and also policy support. So that is very briefly what I want to talk about. Okay, thank you very much. Indeed, globally there are a lot of challenges and support for the counter-globalization, which makes resilience of supply chain all the more important, and new solutions empowered by digital technologies all the more important. I think when it comes to upgrading and innovation in this area, new technologies and cross-sectoral cooperation are necessary, whether it's financial institutions, businesses, university, or research bodies. We're all doing what we can to empower the supply chain, making it more resilient and also potentially more promising. I hope this dialogue has been inspiring for you, and hopefully there will be more possibilities after this dialogue for cooperation. I want to thank everybody. Now, please find your seat. Now, the second panel. And the theme is sustainability for supply chain amid green transition. The panelists include Vice President Bao Xiaochen from the ICBC Beijing branch, Lu Jing, President of Standard Chartered China, and President of Transport, Logistics and Industry Wang Guofan from the Investment Promotion Agency of Hong Kong SAR, and Chief Representative Huang Ran from the IRU Eastern Southeast Asia Office. Welcome to you all. Green is the trend. There's no denying that. It's being embraced by all the businesses. And today, this panel is going to zoom in on green logistics and the circular economy. How do we achieve both in the supply chain management, and how through innovations and cooperation we can build up our capacities, making us greener. So, first, let me turn to Vice President of ICBC Beijing branch, Mr. Bao Xiaochen. Hello, and hello to you too. ICBC is a commercial bank with one of the largest assets, huge clientele, and very diversified business. I understand that you're from the Beijing branch. And what about your green financial service for the businesses? Would you like to talk about that? Well, thank you, and I appreciate the invitation. Today, I want to talk about one of the 5 important topics, and that is green finance. It's not just me. I think Ms. Lu will also talk about that. So these are 5 priorities. We have 5 priorities in the finance sector. One is green finance.
As you just asked, when serving the supply chain, what should we do? I heard the first session of discussion and also the keynote speaker's speech, and many of them come from the real economy, and we are the blood line. And after hearing their sharing, and it is meaningful also to hear some voice from us. And also, we not only support the supply chain, more importantly, we support the development of green supply chain. For our bank, we have been dedicated to the green finance for about 20 years. And since I'm a freshman in our bank, we already done business related to the credit and loans. And at that time, we have the green veto, which means that it went against the requirement for the green development. We would give a vote of veto. Another one is that as of today, our half-year financial report, our green balance already over 5,000 billion, and for our Beijing branch, it already go beyond 40 billion. Whether it means that when it meets the green criteria, just mean that it is a kind of green finance. It is not necessary when it meets the green criteria. This is a bottom line. That how to make more contribution to the green transformation. We also look at different perspectives. For us, how to increase the reduction of carbon dioxide. For example, for the transformation of traditional industry, about 20 years ago, we mainly gave loan to those petrochemical and fossil fuel companies. And right now, we can witness the dramatic change in our approval of loans. Right now, we just gave it to those new energy. And this one is closely related to the commitment for 2030 and 2060, and also the green development strategy. Right now, this becomes the main pillar for all the banks in China. And also, I witnessed that the Industrial Commercial Bank of China Limited branch, Beijing branch, also made a large contribution. And now we would like to give the floor to Ms. Lu Jing, President from Standard Chartered. And Chartered Bank operate the business in 56 countries, and it is also one of the commercial banks that is rooted in China, and also is dedicated to providing services to the domestic and overseas companies. Based on your experience, what kind the trend of the companies and what are the challenges they meet? Because of our unique feature, we mainly focus on emerging markets. We cover about 75% of the Belt and Road countries. We are not only the observer, and we are also the practitioner in the front line. We can see very salient trajectory. Previously, during the last scale, industrial chain China ranked the top, and also we are the only country that cover all the different industrial categories according to the UN standard. Therefore, for China, we are not only a participator, we are even the leader. And 30% of added value from supply chain come from China. Previously, we mentioned about efficiency, that is to increase added value and reduce the cost of supply chain. But today, with the geopolitical conflicts, right now we shifted the eyes from the efficiency to security. Previously, for many Chinese companies, it is very convenient for them. It covers from the scratch to the end, from the bolt and nut to the packaging box. They can have access to it. Right now, we are talking about going global. That we're talking about the efficiency to going global now. There is a very important international topic that is about the green and renewable energy and clean energy. Whether we like it or not, in the long run, if the world wants to realize a green transformation, it also lives up to the supply chain of China. At the same time, we can find that the anti-battery law from Europe and also the carbon cap law from Europe proposed a new requirement for the management of the supply chain, especially for the emission of carbon dioxide and traceability of carbon footprint. And these are the hot topics for most companies in China. And these rules will be implemented by 2060. Therefore, the Chinese enterprises should shift their eyes not only to security and going global strategy. At the same time, they need to have the comprehensive management of their supply chain. Of course, we are happy that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be a very real transnational Chinese company that really operate their business worldwide. Another is to our delight. Previously, we focused on developed countries. Right now, we find that the global south, especially the developing countries, have become our focus because they occupy 80% of the world total population. Developed countries, of course, are quite good, but we can find that there are high walls. But 80% of world population need a supply chain from China. With our global landscape, we will find that more enterprises from supply chain of China will come to Africa, will come from the Central Asia and Latin America. And every time I visited Africa, I find the traces and presence of the photovoltaic companies for Africa. 80% the electricity price has been reduced by 80% just because of Chinese enterprises. And this availability is the key trend for the future global landscape of the supply chain. And thank you for sharing. For the Standard Charter, you also make a lot of contribution and efforts to realize the green transformation of the Chinese enterprises. And now we would like to give the floor to Mr. Wang Guofan, President of Transportation, Logistics and Industry from Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Government Investment Promotion Agency. Hong Kong as the transportation hub, it owns the efficient transportation and logistics services. At the same time, Hong Kong meets a lot of pressure from the good environment and also the high cost of energy. Therefore, how to realize this kind of balance? Thanks for sharing. You mentioned about the word balance. Here is the general background. 1.5 degree consensus. Calculating from this year, we are already under irreversible situation. Previously, I also read some articles and also diagrams. According to some diagrams, over the past decades, every year the global temperature has been increased. It takes 14 years to increase the temperature by 0.5 Celsius degree. And for another 0.5, even before it took 30 years. So based on this calculation, we would reach the cap 1.5 Celsius after another 7 years. According to one news from 2017, we reached 0.5 Celsius degree by 2040. According to the report that by 2030 we would increase the temperature by 1.5 Celsius degree. And also some experts say that the temperature will increase by 1.5 just in the next 2 or 3 years. So this is the general background. That is also why we talk about the new productive forces. That's why the green technology is very important, not only about our 2030, 2060 goals in mainland China and also that one from Hong Kong. The Hong Kong government would like to provide the rules and principles for the supply chain industry. For example, for the green fuel, we are trying to find some alternative of the green fuel. And this kind of green fuel can be provided to some industries, like the aerospace industry, that is the SAF, the Sustainable Aviation Fuel. In Hong Kong, there is a relevant company that previously they were a branch of a coal-fired company and right now is independent and become a unicorn. They are focusing on the sustainable aviation fuel. That is the name of company is Aeroferrous. And right now, it is the largest producer of SAF, the sustainable aviation fuel. In terms of the cruise and also the vessel fuel, it is much more complicated because this dispute is not solved. Some of them, they are resulting to LNG. And maybe the next option is methanol or ammonia or hydrogen. But right now, the decision is not made. Right now, LNG and also methanol have been the preferred option, and we make a lot of preparations. We just release the green vessel fueling technology and also the green port action plan. We already released these ones. Another one is for the transportation vans. We are talking about how to use hydrogen to drive it. Right now, we have 3 urban cleaning vans that is empowered by the hydrogen engine. Right now, we are under the test for these vans. In the future, we also hope that we can support the application from the green industries. Because for the green industry, they need a lot of finance support. Hong Kong, as the largest supporter for finance, we have done a lot of relevant works, especially our green bond. And that one covers different currencies that can be transacted in 4 currencies and is based on the blockchain. In terms of financial sector, we hope that we can support more enterprises, and also we have the co-climate on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, and that is the carbon exchange market. We hope we can invite more enterprises and also to embrace more opportunities. We hope that we can use different perspectives to support those green and environmentally friendly industries. It is very impressed about the green transformation of Hong Kong. Thank you very much. And now
our next speaker is Wang Tan from IRU. It was created in Geneva in 1848, and in over 100 countries it's got the membership and is very active, committed to sustainable transport. It's authorized by the UN to manage tiers, the only cross-border customs system. So when it comes to the road transport green transition, what are the challenges and what are the actions or initiatives from IRU to help manage the decarbonization challenges? Well, thank you very much. I really like this opportunity to talk about road transport. As you probably know, road transport is necessary for global development. It helps support our life and also the harmony of the whole world. It's irreplaceable. I think globally, when it comes to environmental protection, the challenge is how do we keep the existing transport services and efficiency, and in doing so, how to decarbonize the transport infrastructure and the network. We IRU don't think the transition is going to happen overnight. We can't wait until 2035 or even 2050 or 2060. Have to start now, taking actions now. IRU is an international road transport organization active in over 100 countries, representing 3.15 million transport sector players. And together with the industry, we've also rolled out a roadmap towards decarbonization by 2050, our IRU Green Pact. Within this framework, we want to team up with the supply chain and other partners like energy suppliers, road transport players, academic institutions, vehicle producers. Together, we need to work together to have green transition and decarbonization. Besides, our Green Pact of the IRU also zooms in on the needs of the countries, providing flexible and localized solutions. We believe that in our Green Pact there are three very important principles. First, we believe governments and law enforcers need to create a more active and flexible environment. This will help drive green transition and efficient development of the transport sector. The second principle is this: government and law enforcers need to be more neutral when it comes to their approach to regulation, whilst keeping technologies under close oversight. We need to also take care of the practical needs of the industry to drive the transition. And thirdly, globally, we want to channel more attention to the international standards and the implementation of international agreements. For example, the TR system is under our custodianship by the UN, and that means the truck waiting time at ports can be much shorter. Our data show that in the international road transport, we can decarbonize by about 30%. So that's the answer. Well, thank you, Mr. Wang. Now, back to President Lu Jing of Standard Chartered Bank China. Hello to you, and hello to you too. You said that when it comes to the international green supply chain, there are still some challenges for the industry. So what has your bank done to overcome these challenges to support green decarbonization? I think there are a myriad of these challenges. For example, technology, which we've heard a lot about. Also, what are the standards for green finance? China and also other jurisdictions, they all have their own standards that reflect their industrial needs. And also there are international standards that are mostly pioneered by developed countries, mostly Europe, about 20 or 30 years ago. So there is a divergence of standards here. Also disclosure, it's really marvelous that what we can achieve within 10 years. Over 95% of the SOEs under central government are compliant with the ESG disclosure. But to what standards? Are these standards ideal? That's still up for debate, but it's good to know that disclosure is there, and over 60% of the listed companies have done that too. It's a good beginning because once this process starts, we will have more of these disclosures. However, what about the supply chain? Are these disclosure standards also compliant with those in the host communities? There are a lot of question marks here. Also, the capacity shortage, because we're talking about something that's rather new. And let's not forget that different sectors are governed by different international regulations or agreements. Take the PV or new energy vehicles. We probably could find a lot of common ground there. But what about the high emitting sectors? China emits about 30% of the carbon. After all, it's a factory for the world. If cement, petrochemical, ONG, if these sectors are taken off our radar, if we just zoom in on the new energy sectors, I think it will be very difficult for us to really have meaningful transitions in our physical world. We are a quite special bank. We are in an emerging market, and we've been here for about 100 years. Climate change and climate calamities will hit the emerging markets first and foremost, the markets that we operate in. So a long time ago, we made an open pledge by 2030, so within 5 years, when it comes to the sustainable finance, we will invest about $35 billion to support, in particular, the high-emitting business. Also, by 2035, our own operation, our own finance activities will become net zero. So these are our targets, or as we put it in Chinese, the flags are already there. And we are also among the few international banks to actually set up a large team dedicated to transition. It's not really staffed by bankers. Mostly it's staffed by experts from the high-emitting industries, ONG, chemical engineering. They are all looking into the technologies that will help facilitate the transition. We also have this team in China to help with the transition too. Recently, we helped a steel mill from Hebei province retrofitting their process using the waste steel, not the ore from the ore mine, and this can shorten their process, and we can prove this process is up to international standards, and that would be truly a good project. But we are financing their technological retrofitting up to the international standards, also shifting from the blast furnace to electric furnace, and also the CCUS. We are all working with the businesses to explore the feasibility of these solutions. Now back to the supply chain, our topic. We believe that China is the strongest in new energies and it's launching to the international market, but in US and also Europe, there are a lot of setbacks because of the turning inwards, the mindset, because of their policies to protect local industries, also because of their high compliance requirements. For example, you have to be localized when it comes to your investment, R&D, and also the hiring. We've studied the INA, the Anti-Inflationary Act, and then we helped China's largest and also one of the world's largest PV industry set up a non-traceable project in the US. It's a company from Dezhou. We helped finance that project. We've done a lot of feasibility study, including the scenario with Donald Trump winning the election, which is not a reality. We want to understand whether the project can still sustain itself without subsidy, and I think that company is doing really well. Even without subsidy, it can still outperform the other solar PV component makers. It's also generated 150 local jobs. We also helped set up a large battery factory in Europe, again providing finance with the UKEF. once it's up and running, it will help export British sales, and that means the UK will become an exporter of sales. The UKEF also comes in. It's a sort of high frequency and low cost financing. So we've done a lot of these pioneering efforts, and we also help the industry partners understand their footprint in the ESG, getting good international ratings so that they can compete with their peers. And with these good ratings, they can better compete in the international supply chain. Thank you. Let me now turn to Vice President Bao from ICBC Beijing branch. You already talked about the many efforts you've done about green and high-quality development. We also know that we also want to know what specifically has been done about the supply chain green transition. Any of your best practices or success stories? I don't want to talk about our products because that sounds a lot like commercials. So let me just give you some examples, not the credit. As I said, for green products, the non-fossil fuel projects, and a lot the decarbonization projects in the logistic industry, they are given a lot of our credit support. And we do run a big business globally. We have branches in 69 countries, and in China you have over 12,000 outlets. So a big system, and you have to make sure ESG is embedded in everything we do. Green finance is in everything we do, and we use the performance evaluation to achieve that. If a project is compliant with the green standards or the decarbonization standards, the financing cost for any of our one outlets will be 10 to 20 basis points lower, and that means a higher profit of margin of profit. Also, in the open market, ICBC for a long time has been among the largest underwriters of domestic bonds. So we have a lot of green bond innovations. For example, this year we issued the first CCER-related green energy bond that's pegged to the emission. It sounds complicated, but it's quite simple. The bond yield is 3%, and then you sign a contract. Within 5 years, you have to decarbonize over 1 million tons. If you can do that, it will stay 3%. Failing that, it will be 3.2%. And that putting that term into the contract means that the open market investors will be able to find a product with certain green expectations. It's also an incentive for the issuers. They need to have cheap financing that's also compliant with the ESG. Another innovation is this, we have deposit and also lending business, and we have had history of 40 years.
And also, we do a lot of investment in equities. Around decades years ago, we already have the merger and acquisition fund and also the green energy investment with large energy companies. Because for this kind of project, it is a very long cycle that from the establishment of the project until it's put into operation. This kind of project will involve many years. Therefore, for the market, what they want is to get the fund and capital. So we will provide the capital of them so that they can develop their projects and then to have consolidated revenue. Therefore, we are trying to support this kind of development. That's all. And now we would like to give the floor to Mr. Wang from the Hong Kong Special Administration Region Government Investment Promotion Agency. Previously, you mentioned about some achievements, for example, the decarbonization of the shipment and also the promotion of the green energy and the reduction of the fossil fuel and also the rigorous regulation from the government side. And all this facilitates the green development of the companies right now for the green transformation of supply chain. What are the status quo? What is the prospects? In Hong Kong, it covers a lot of topics for the environmental development. For example, for the cruising and the shipment company, in the guideline is covered different topics. And also different companies try to echo with us. Right now, we are developing the green harbor. Right now, for some harbors, they need to get this kind of funding or ESG disclosure. These are the compulsory requirements for them. Otherwise, they cannot get the funds so easily. And also they also try to realize the automation in the container, and also the different ways to supply the different fuels. We not only pay attention to the harbors, we also try to establish the green channel. That is, work together with other harbors to develop our harbors in connection with other green harbors from other countries. And also for the vessels, it requires infrastructure and green processing so that they can use this kind of green fuels. Another one is about the registration of vessel. We rank the top 4 for the registration of the vessels in the world. At the same time, we encourage those vessel companies to have the green vessels. So there is a carbon intensity index. If they can meet the carbon intensity index requirement, we will give them some reward of over 10,000 yuan. And we are the first place in the world to encourage those vessel companies to realize their green transformation because they will have their presence in the whole globe. Therefore, it will reduce the carbon emission in the whole world rather than just reduce the carbon footprint in Hong Kong. This shows our responsibility. Another one is the EcoCISCE. That is the provider of the sustainable aviation fuel. And also for airports, we issue the green bonds and develop the green route. For example, they already realized the electrification of the vans and vehicle in airports. Not only airport operator it requires so, they also require other different parties to do so. And also they try to use hydrogen. And then they will replace some part of the power with the hydrogen to drive the heavy-duty trucks. Another one is about the new quality productive forces, and the green development is closely related to the technologies. Hong Kong also have done a lot of work related to technologies. Over the past half year, Hong Kong already invested over 200 billion to different companies to realize their green transition. And also the friend from SF mentioned that they integrate AI and large model to reduce their carbon emission and improve their efficiency of operation. This is also the general trajectory because AI can be integrated with the new materials and support the development for the green transition. And also in Hong Kong, we establish a new center to support different companies to integrate, to develop those research and development projects related to artificial intelligence. And this base is the computing base. It has a computation power of 1,000 P, and once it's finished, it can reach 3,000 P. And many Chinese mainland companies also have a lot of curiosity on it. And also we have sponsorship for different technological projects. For example, the cooperation projects between high-tech companies and universities and research institutes. Hong Kong government will provide the sponsorship as much as 100 million Hong Kong yuan. And this year, we just approved the earliest batch of this kind of projects. There are around 20 of them. In the future, technology will be the main trend. And also, one thing we want to do in the future. And here I would like to give the floor to Mr. Wang from IRU. The technological transformation is very important for the technological transformation. So in terms of road transport, what are the bottleneck issues for the road transportation? And also, how can we implement these technologies through cooperation? For the road transport, for the green development technology of transportation, road transportation, it focuses on two areas. First of all, to improve the efficiency of transportation, that with the limited supply of fuel and energy, how can we generate higher transportation capacity? Because this is equivalent to the reduction of emission and the optimization and improvement of energy use. Right now, there are a lot of technologies available. For example, to build the elongated trucks or bus, that to increase its loading capacity and the same consumption of energy, and develop those low resistance tires can also improve the efficiency of transportation, and also include the professional training for the drivers and the certification for the drivers, so that they will master higher skills, so that we can save energy and improve the operation efficiency. The most important message is how to apply and how to promote this kind of technology and to change it from the theory to reality. Another important topic is about the alternative technology. For example, the use of electricity and hydrogen power. This alternative energy is very key for the sustainable and green development of supply chain industry. So what are the bottlenecks for the alternative energy? First of all, is how to pay great attention to the infrastructure when we try to improve the supply of them, and also how to improve the service capability. Just an example, for the electric vehicles, for the vehicles, that how to have a large coverage of the charge piling and charging piles. Previously, I had some discussion with counterparts. Right now, there are very mature technology for the electrified trucks. and the transportation capabilities of these trucks is equivalent to those cars driven by fossil fuels. However, for the electric trucks that during the long range of transport, it's hard for them to get the electricity or from the charging posts. That's why infrastructure is so important, why these kinds of services are so important. We believe that the integration of this kind of technology, first of all, to improve the efficiency of transportation. At the same time, we need to find alternative technology and to use the new energy to make up for the energy shortage. And this will improve the green development and help to reduce the carbon emission. And also, IRU, we are also the co-host for the International Transportation Day of UN and also the next 10 years development initiated by UN. We are also willing to work together with different links from different walks of life and from upstream and downstream to empower the green development of the whole industry, and also to realize the upgrading development of the whole globe. Through today's sharing, we also find that the policy, financial support, logistics, infrastructures are very important for the development of industrial chain. And also, we need to solve more problems in the future. However, we are sure that the green logistics and the green mindset, we can reduce our impact in the environment and we can establish more efficient supply chain. And thanks for the participation from all the participants here. And you can go back to your seats and take a rest. The last session is the cutting edge release that the information empowerment of the green supply chain and the optimized integration group. We will release their industrial chain products that is yielding to. And that one is featured by connectivity and also the full ecological system that can share in the resources in the agricultural sector and realize the mutual benefits. And now we would like to give the floor to Ms. Wei Kailing, the co-chairperson and CEO of Optimized Integration Group, to come to the stage. Welcome. Distinguished leaders and friends, good afternoon. I'm Wei Kailing Ella from Optimized Integration, and the invitation. It is a great honor to participate into the thematic event on supply chain services of CISCE. Here, what I want to share is about the green supply chain information empowerment. Here is the chart from the FAO. How can we define the temperature-controlled agricultural products in addition to the basic agricultural products? For the foods, vegetables, and meat, once they need the temperature control, we can regard them as temperature-controlled agricultural products. According to estimation from the 2022 to 2032, the estimated production in different regions in the world increased. In China, we mainly witnessed the increase of protein products.
And this is the consumption. The total consumption was about 23 trillion yuan, and by 2032 that would be about 35 trillion yuan. And one thing should be clear, this is a large market and the livelihood of the people depends on it. It's true, China is the largest producer. However, it doesn't really have a lot of resources to be self-sufficient, because on a per capita level, the resource scarcity is very serious. We have 20% of the population, but arable land and water are only 9% and 6% of the world, respectively. So less than 10% of the resources, a quarter of the food, and a fifth of the population. That is marvelous. However, this large population and the growing middle class mean that the high-quality protein food is increasingly in demand. In other words, it's not just about the food security anymore, it's increasingly about the food quality. But with the inadequate land resources and also inadequacies in the breeding and genetic technologies, there will be a projected gap here. Also, a big challenge is the distribution. The cold chain storage is needed for all. By 2023, we're talking about an 18 trillion yuan market. That being said, the coverage, the per capita storage, the penetration, by these indicators, we're still far behind the leading countries. And this cold chain service is crucial to distributing high-quality food. So, you might have a question. We are the largest producer of this and big consumer, a lot of demand that will not go away easily. But why is the West still home to most of the food giants, not China? And I think this slide shows some of our challenges. The primary through the tertiary industry, all affected from all the way from breeding to the end distribution. It's a long value chain, each link supported by a lot of factors: labor, capital, and resource intensive, and the standardization is quite low. Besides, to be honest, the barrier to entry is quite low, and the mindset is very conservative. So inefficient information, asymmetrical, difficult to mine, to monetize the information. Take domestic producers as an example. You have to go through a lot of intermediaries and marketplaces from all the way from the source to the end consumers, and also you have to think about the new distribution channels. So there you go. You have a lot of the divides between the different market segments and players, and that is very complicating. Information technology alone is not going to change it all. At least it's going to be very difficult. Take the imported frozen food as an example. We have hundreds of sources, tens of thousands of licensed processors, and tens of thousands of SKUs. The processes, the techniques, the technologies are all different. And then in the Chinese market, you have a multi-tiered market system. In the distribution process, there needs standardization and regulation and market integrity for these market segments. And the market players are competing with, not working with each other. So the cost is high, efficiency of management is low. So whether it's the distribution or the financing, we are talking about a lot of risks, and at the end of the day, the customers pay for all of them. And that means the localized change in the supply chain will not solve all the problems. This means we have to really tap into China's largest, China as the world's largest integrated market, find the best products like imported frozen food or the agriculture food, and then you can better invest in this market segment, working with the customers from China and across the Asian market, and that way you can connect the dots, harness technology and information, reorganize the rules and the regulations, and reshape the interests between the different market participants. And we were created 16 years ago to do that. In the past 1 decade, we in this sector are the only industry leader. For 10 years in a row, our import share was the highest, and I think it's more than the combined total of the next 4 players. And also, we are the only one in China to truly support the entire industrial chain. Also, we are able to cover more of the up and downstream market segments than our rivals. So we've been doing this for over 1 decade, and we've built up a lot of standards. And I'm taking this opportunity, this great Expo, to launch our online flagship project, and that is a industrial internet. It's designed for all, connecting all the scenarios, creating the ecosystems, digitizing the entire process, so that this market segment could have shared resources, jointly build ecosystem for the benefits of all. First, connecting the entire industrial chain, we understand the needs of the procurement, and that we can point them towards the best sources, increasing the information transparency. We can facilitate transaction in this platform. That way, the transaction is much quicker and faster. Also, we are tapping into the flow of the commercial activities, information and capital, and also goods in order to launch new products on different fronts that will better serve our customers. It's true, we are a supply chain operator in the temperature-controlled agriculture, but we are different. In 2021, we launched a product or a project, and a lot of the top banks, altogether 20 of them, are working with us. They could directly reach the SMEs in the up and downstream supply chain, and that would make targeted finance possible. Also, ecosystem, we create a new model, platform plus ecosystem, designed for different transaction needs and scenario needs, creating an open-ended ecosystem, empowering our partners, and that way we can truly create an online network where resources are shared. Also, the digital ecosystem, based on the needs, we are embracing digital technologies to build up our underlying capacities for risk control operation, and the entire process is backed by digital technologies. We believe that in order to restructure the supply chain, you need online industrial platform backed by the offline service network. That's the only solution. Globally, our network is being launched, and going forward, we will create more solutions for the benefits of all, so that we can turn competition into cooperation, and that way the online information and offline service can be brought together. We can balance tradition and innovation. And that way we can truly become a trend setter, transforming what's traditional with what's advanced. So let me thank the host again for their invitation and best wishes to this great expo. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wei, for sharing that information. Also, I want to thank all the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's event. On behalf of our hosts, I just want to thank our strategic partner, ICBC official partners, PICC, Bank of Communications, Wulianghe, and our supporter, Standard Charter. Thank you for your great support. I wish everybody good luck. Thank you.